Welcome back, Ty.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
After a 2 week break, we are continuing our series together. So if you've not listened to episode 39 and 40, go back and listen to those two. We are sharing the evolution of our family's gut health journey. In episode 40, we left off where we found out that our fourth child had a gut imbalance. We healed his gut, and that's really when our lives changed in really profound ways.
Yeah.
And I think it's really beautiful that we took the last 2 weeks break. We didn't intend to do that. We planned the series to be back to back. But I shared in the last two episodes that I recorded solo that we're rebranding the business, and it launched me into this personal transformation. And I think taking that break was really good. I think it will change this episode and make it a whole lot stronger and more valuable for listeners.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited.
So, do you remember, we talked about it in previous episodes, or in the previous two that we recorded together, that I have always been a dreamer. I'm always saying, I've got this idea, babe. What do you think? Do you remember when I came to you with the idea of Only?
I actually don't.
You don't?
I don't, because kind of like you said, there's a laundry list of ideas. And until there's kind of like movement towards getting that idea into a act, I am just supportive and kind of listen.
Okay.
And so I don't. Do you remember?
I do.
Okay.
I remember we had just left our Rome school group. We had traveled around for a month together. We started in City of Rocks. We went to Moab,
Great Salt Lake,
the Great Salt Lake,
Moab,
Southern Utah. Is that right? Was that all in one, or is that 2 different years?
That was all in one.
And when we parted ways with our group, I remember sitting there, I was holding the bottle of the alkaline structure silver that had helped Birdie. And I'd had a dream that I needed to share this with the world, that 2 of our children had experienced very similar situations, and we healed both of their bodies from the inside when so many people told us to just wait it out, or to just take this prescription that would mask their symptom. And it was really profound.
Yeah.
And we had also, after we healed Birdie, I remember coming to you and saying, what are we doing? Everything we had just done to heal Birdie, and a couple of years earlier to heal our second child, there are no negative side effects. Why don't we all embrace this as a lifestyle? Mm-hmm. Why don't we do this all the time? Why would we just do it for this short period of time to heal them? We could live this way. We could live in this state of thriving that both of our boys were in right after we healed their guts. And so we started taking the supplements as a family. We would take the probiotic that is comparable to what I now sell in Only Organics, which is Nourish, and a small amount of the alkaline structured silver, which is Cleanse, in my shop.
Yeah.
And we were already eating a very gut nurturing diet, but I was even more mindful. I was even more committed.
We're committed to not just surviving, but thriving, right? Like that was the goal. It was no more of this like, let's
get by.
Yeah, let's get by. But instead, like, live our best life.
And I think that we always wanted that. I think just seeing the transformation in our boys opened our eyes up to what might be possible.
Yeah.
So as a family, we did an experiment, and I said, for 30 days, I just want to try it. And it completely changed us. It changed me. So I kind of jumped forward a little bit with the idea of Only. I'm going backwards a little bit because I didn't have this idea until after we did this experiment. The idea of building Only Organics. So I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was in high school, and I have just learned how to get along with it. My mind moves a million miles an hour, and I just do it.
Yeah.
But my actions follow that. Like I'll get an idea and then I've already moved on, and so nothing's ever stuck for me. And that's just been part of who I've always been. And my focus is short and intense, and my energy is high, and that's just who I've always been. But when I started nurturing my gut, that's when I realized maybe I had lived most of my life with a gut imbalance without even knowing it.
Yeah.
I never had any reason to ever believe that my gut was anything other than perfectly balanced until I started implementing everything we had done to heal our boys. And all of a sudden, my mind wasn't as busy and I could focus. And I just had this new clarity that I've never experienced in my life. And I don't know if you remember anything that you experienced when we did that first experiment of implementing our gut nurturing healing method. But
well, I think one thing that I did notice was that I had heard about meditation before. This is kind of a tangent, but it'll tie back in. And had always wanted to try it, but I didn't think that I had the time or energy or whatever it was, focus to do it. But when I went through that 30 days, after that was the first time I started meditating too.
That's right.
And so, which was really beneficial to me, and I wish I did more of. It's just one of those things that it's like exercise. Like it does so much for you and makes you feel so much better, and you probably don't really realize it until you stop doing it. And but yeah, that was when I started meditating, and I meditated for that whole first year, every day, and it was really transformational to get some insight in me. But I think balancing my gut was the gateway to getting to that insight.
And a little bit about you. You are a recovering addict.
Yeah.
You have struggled with anxiety and depression your whole life. And what we have since learned since building this business, building only has opened up so many doors, and it has launched me down the path of learning everything about the gut.
Yeah.
And having the opportunity to learn about the connection between your gut and your mental health has been really profound. And what you eat directly impacts
for sure
your mood and your anxiety levels. And combine that with gut nurturing supplements, and I would say that you are a stronger version of yourself.
I feel like a stronger version of myself.
I think you are. Yeah. And for all of our children, even our 2 children who didn't have a significant gut imbalance, going through that 30-day experiment, we just saw it shifted our family. All of our children have always been pretty good sleepers, but they started sleeping really well and waking up really rested. And our days just kind of went from like frequent behavioral issues that we're all conditioned to think is just part of parenthood and having young children. They just weren't as frequent. And
well, I think we could really finally, like, instead of just a constant state of kind of, I don't even know what, unease, like you could go, man, we had a really bad day today, and pinpoint what was going on instead of like, this is just life.
Sure.
Because we could see like there was great days and not as great days. And instead of just like being stuck in the middle, we were experiencing both aspects of it.
And when you have this clarity, you're, like you said, you're able to pinpoint maybe it was this, maybe this triggered this. Like you're much more in tune with everyone's health and happiness.
And willing to give a little bit of empathy when your daughter's having a bad day and you go, oh, you know what? She did not sleep well, because you can pinpoint it. You can go like,
that brings up such a good point, which is the most beautiful part of being in tune with your gut. And now seeing our children do it themselves, like, gosh, mama, I just went to the bathroom and my poop smelled really sour. Like, I've taught my children to be really in tune with their poop, and we communicate about the health of our poop because that is a glimpse into inside our bodies.
Yeah.
And something we should say really quickly here is, since developing our business and going down this path and now supporting countless other families in rebalancing their guts, I have become very aware of just how common gut imbalance is.
Yeah.
And I want to use the word normal because it happens to everybody. It is normal for the gut bacteria to fluctuate. It does not have to be your family's normal to settle with imbalance, though.
Right.
And so gut bacteria naturally fluctuates, just like our immune system. And so just because as a family we are now very in tune with our gut health doesn't mean that we are perfect and we don't have hard days and our guts don't fluctuate. What it means is that we have this foundation to evaluate our family from. So our children will do this too. Mom, I just went potty and my poop is really sour. Oh, great. Okay. Well, here's an extra probiotic and let me know how you're feeling. And symptoms tend to come in clusters. So the poop sour, chances are sleep is going to be pretty restless that night. And then moods are going to be pretty unstable the next day.
Yeah.
And our children will say, I feel like I have a little bit of a gut imbalance.
Or I don't feel like myself.
That's what they say a lot, is I really don't feel like myself. And so we dissect it together and we talk, okay, well, day before yesterday, we ate out at the local co-op. Do you think anything that we ate could have been upsetting to your tummy? We just take the time to really evaluate, and our children piece it together with us, and it's empowering them to get really in tune with their bodies. Yeah. And I mean, the same is true for us.
Yeah.
Like, we are able to evaluate ourselves. And when we have when I'm in different phases of my menstrual cycle, my hormones fluctuate, and hormone fluctuations impact your gut bacteria. And we both know when my hormones are fluctuating and when my gut bacteria, when I've moved into a minor imbalance, because my mood is very unstable. Yeah. And whereas if I'm moving through that same phase of my cycle, but I'm nurturing my gut, I don't experience those mood fluctuations. Yeah. So we kind of went down a long tangent there, yeah. But we did this 30-day experiment as a family, and it opened my eyes up. It changed our family, and it helped me realize there is a whole new level of existence that's possible that I never knew was possible. And I explain this in my business. I have a spectrum. There's a significant imbalance, a minor imbalance, and a balanced gut. We moved into a balanced state of existence. And this is where humans thrive. Yeah. And it's a different level of thriving than most people ever experience.
Just provides a lot of clarity and the gut brain connection is so strong that it really opened the door for you to create only organics. Like it without that, like it wouldn't have happened, I don't think. Or it would have been a passing thought with no action.
Absolutely. And I think that's so beautiful that Only Organics is really a product of me doing what I share. Yeah. Me implementing everything that I teach. And so most people live most of their lives with a minor gut imbalance without even knowing it. Yeah. And that's how we were. We lived our whole lives right there. For and sure. I would say there are many times probably in your life that you had a significant imbalance without knowing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I had diarrhea for a decade.
You did? That's new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think when I was drinking and on drugs, I don't think I had a normal poop.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow. And how fascinating, right? That I mean, of course, the drugs and alcohol are very disruptive to your whole system, but just to think like the interconnection between depression and anxiety
Yeah.
and drugs and alcohol and diarrhea. I mean, the connection between all of it is really profound.
Yeah.
So, after these 30 days, I remember I had a dream and it was so vivid, and this wasn't new for me. I dream every night, and I wake up and I bore tie with my dreams. and, uh, but I could see these labels, I could feel them. It was very real to me, and I told him I'm gonna do this. So we were in the desert. I went for a walk. I took the bottle of silver and I called the doctor whose name was on that bottle. And I couldn't believe that someone answered the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I love this supplement. It has changed my family's life. And I know that yours is only available at a select few naturopathic offices. I want to share this with women and children. I want to share this with families. Families like my own who are so unnecessarily struggling with gut imbalance. And he was very receptive. And within a week, we had our first order underway.
Mm-hmm.
We created what we call Cleanse. And that was the first product that we went for. And that was the beginning. I started, we co-sleep with our children. And after I'd snuggle them to sleep, I would get my computer out and I learned how to design labels and websites. I think before we finally launched in June of 2020, I had to build 3 different websites because I was naive and
we didn't know. I mean, of course we were naive. We didn't have any idea what was.
We have no background in business or website.
Starting a business, merchant processing,
we have learned
government oversight.
Yes. We have learned so much. And part of this journey there's multiple parts that have been really powerful. One that I'd love to share is the mindset. Building only sent me on a path that I didn't know was there.
Mm-hmm.
I call it soul care now. And I share about this in the Happy and Healthy from the Inside Out course. I teach soul care. There's also some of these practices in the Essentials of Gut Health workbook. But these are practices that have opened up our world. It is money mindset. It is affirmations. It is the law of attraction. These really powerful, soulful mindset shifts that we've created in our whole family that have really enhanced our family and have made only what it is.
Yeah.
Without that, I would have given up a long time ago, I think, because building a business is really, really hard. And there are many challenges and hiccups and setbacks, and just leaning back on these practices to hold us up and keep us going while simultaneously remembering our why. Our why is I believe that families deserve to thrive the way that we have learned to thrive. And so many children are unnecessarily struggling the way our children were. And we know how fragile and vulnerable that makes you. We were on the cusp of divorce. Had we not found healing for our second child, I can't even imagine what our lives would look like, but he would be incredibly unwell for his whole life.
Yeah.
And he was on the fast track to a really unhealthy life.
Yeah.
And so we built only. We started with Cleanse, and then I reached out to manufacturer and I created Nourish because it was really important to me that I was able to provide a probiotic that was safe and effective for from the beginning of life to the end of life, and that was a spore forming base.
Yeah.
So that it had the potency to fully rebalance the gut. And it evolved from there. We got the silver topical gel that is, I mean, that saved our life with Birdie when his rash was so uncomfortable. And it evolved from there. We got more products. We got Wash and Rejuvenate. The 3 of those together with those 2 with Relieve. That now makes up our Balanced Bacteria skincare kit. So a lot of topical treatments that people are given because rashes, acne, yeast infections, skin issues are very common with gut imbalance. And unfortunately, we are all handed prescriptions for medications that will just mask those symptoms. Whereas this skincare kit, actually, it not only nurtures the skin and relieves the itchiness and the pain, but it heals the skin by supporting the microbiome. And it just evolved from there. I've shared this in a different podcast, so I'm not going to go into it here. And I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I can provide them in the show notes about CBD and why we carry CBD as a business. That was a big one that continues to be a really big one.
Yeah.
That
was important for me.
Very important for you.
Yeah.
Will you share on that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I'm an athlete. And my body constantly aches. And I just thought that that's what is supposed to happen. So I take ibuprofen every day or Tylenol every day to kind of cure that or mask that general achiness all day long.
And so this was, I mean, I don't know, probably well before you and I met, but up until until I was pregnant with Birdie, I was 6 months pregnant.
Yeah. And so, I mean, for years, since I was probably in high school, that was daily. And so we wanted to try something else. And because I'm a recovering addict, CBD always kind of seemed outside of what was a safe product to use. And then when we were pregnant with Bird, your midwife recommended this THC-free CBD, which, of course, we had to then call my therapist and the guy who did my intervention, who's still my therapist, and talk to him about it and make sure that it was a safe product for me to use. And we started using that, and I think it really changed your life as well.
Oh my gosh, it changed my pregnancy. My postpartum with Bird was completely different than my postpartum with our other 3 children.
Yeah.
And nothing else was different other than CBD.
Yeah.
But my hormones didn't fluctuate like they did with my other pregnancies.
Yeah. So I was looking for something primarily for easing of muscle pain. And so we started taking that, but then we realized the difficulty of finding THC-free CBD. There's a lot of CBD out there. We've learned enough about it that we know that most are probably pretty dirty and heavy and toxic with heavy metals and all kinds of other garbage. Whether it's
You've got to listen to these other episodes. We go into that a lot.
Okay. And so CBD was important for me because I wanted to have a product that I could use every day to help with my achiness. And the byproduct of that also was that it was a mood stabilizer for me as well. It made my fluctuation of emotional fluctuation more stable as well.
And so we were sourcing CBD from our naturopath.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had moved into our Airstream, I was already underway with creating Only Organics. We had the Cleanse and the Nourish and the Relieve Gel all in manufacturing. We ran out of our CBD and we were about to cross into Mexico. And I knew that I would never live another day without it. And I remember going to a Sprouts market in San Diego and buying CBD. And it's a very reputable brand. They have many other supplements. I had taken other supplements of theirs before. And so I was just like, okay. And it was really, really expensive. I want to say it was like a $200 bottle of CBD. And Then I take it and we get in the car and we're driving back to our Airstream, and I'm reading the tiny, tiny fine print, and it says 10% of ingredients sourced in the United States. And what I have learned about CBD is it is really important that it is sourced in the United States, and you can track it and you can see the third-party tests. Otherwise, it's likely that it is grown abroad and it is a byproduct of hemp
soil
rejuvenation.
Yeah. So they're using it to clean the soil from heavy
hemp
metals.
is a very absorbent plant, so you plant it in fields to regenerate the soil. It leaches out the toxins and heavy metals, and they've done this for this has been happening for a very long time, but now there's this really lucrative
market
for that hemp. And so that hemp is being turned into CBD. And if you are not able to source where that hemp was grown and see the third-party tests, you can be pretty sure that you have a bottle of concentrated toxins and heavy metals.
Well, and even most third-party testings don't test heavy metals. And that's something that's also specific to yours, is you go above and beyond making sure that not only is it THC free, but it also is clear,
mold-free, toxin, heavy metal-free. I'm very serious about my testing from this experience. Yeah. So I couldn't, and we had been giving the CBD to our children. Mm-hmm. It helped so much with their mood and their sleep. And it really goes hand in hand with this whole gut nurturing lifestyle that was new to us, because the way that CBD works in your body is it supports your endocannabinoid system, which that system's job is to help all of your other bodily systems be balanced. And so your digestive system is part of that. And so it was just, it just, in that moment, I just like, I have to create CBD for Only. Like I didn't have that intention going into our business, but in that moment, I was like, I need CBD. Our naturopath is out. I just spent $200 on a bottle that I have to throw away. And this supplement has made such a profound difference in our life. I want to share a clean product with other families. Yeah. And so that was really hard. I would fly with some of our children. We'd go tour different manufacturing facilities, and it really slowed the whole business down, because what we learned is, naively, because I launched my website, I got my first sale, and then I was quickly shut down. This happened 3 different times. I had to keep rebuilding my website on different platforms, because what I didn't know is when you sell CBD, that is considered a higher risk product, and you have to have special merchant processing. So we have to pay a hefty fee to provide CBD in our shop.
Yeah. And it prevents us from being on Amazon, let's say. Not that we would really want to be on there, but I mean, it would be nice.
I can't offer Apple Pay or Google Pay on my website, because I can only go through this special merchant processing, and this is because of the CBD. So we have hemmed and hawed about it a lot. Is this worth continuing to provide? And we just keep coming down to it, is we have many people who are subscribed to our CBD. They automatically get CBD every single month, because there is not another CBD that compares. Yeah. And I wouldn't know where to refer them to. And selfishly, I want our balanced CBD. That is a part of my everyday. And so we will continue to provide balance, but there are hoops that we've had to jump through, and we are very naive, and it's really formed our business. And so we've kind of talked about how Only was, where it came from, how we got here. And I planned on this doing a whole 4th episode, but can I be honest? I have so many episodes that I'm dying to create. So can we squeeze it into this 3rd one?
Bring it.
So the 4th part is where Only is going.
Okay.
And this is the part that I'm really excited to share, and I'm excited that we have the opportunity to share it after these last 2 transformative weeks, because our new projection for Only is different than what we thought. And this is part of having a small business, and part of nurturing your gut is when your gut is balanced, your intuition is really, really strong. And you know that something is a hell yes or a hell no. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get that clarity.
Yeah.
But if it's heavy in your gut, it's a no.
Yeah.
And if it's lighting you up, it's a hell yes. And we had some ideas of where we thought we wanted only to go, but it was sitting heavy in our gut and we didn't really know what that meant.
Yeah.
But
So we talked about initially going into trying to get into retail space and
big retail space
across the nation.
Our goal was every Whole Foods in the United States. And
although that sounds lovely, it seems like a great move for a business to do that. What would happen ultimately was that we were going to lose a lot of control over where our products were, how they would be sold, and where they would be sold.
And going back a little bit further, I always kind of thought retail would be a neat way to make a bigger impact and reach more people. I mean, it's really convenient to be able to just go to a store like Whole Foods that's everywhere and be able to buy what you need. That seems right.
Yeah.
And over the new year, Ty and I decided that it was time for our family to align and that we wanted to work toward one mission and make a bigger impact for our family and for the world. Mm-hmm. And so Ty came on to Only full-time. He'd been doing mortgages and he agreed he wasn't going to put any energy outsourcing any mortgages, but if some come to him, that's fantastic, but he was not going to put energy in finding them. He was going to put all of his external energy into Only. So we started brainstorming. Well, what could he be really good at? What would be worth his time? And that's where retail came in. Yeah. Ty was a traveling salesman for 10 years and he's really good at it. And so retail made sense. Yeah. We thought it made sense. We went for a month. He did a very intense course learning everything about retail. He got in touch with distributors and wholesale managers, and what we learned is a corporate game that we do not want to play, and it does not align with our lifestyle, our visions for the business, or our family. Yeah. And what does align with us is partnering with smaller shops and supporting those businesses alongside ours. Right. And so we are going to move forward with that. Mm-hmm. And maybe the products are different. We are picturing how do you describe the shop that we visualize some of our products being in?
Well, it's that singly owned shop. It's a one of one. Mm-hmm. It's usually in a hippie town somewhere or in the hippie part of town. They sell incense and also goods for women. Like it's a whole vibe.
And like organic children's clothing. Right. And, I want to call it a boutique, but I don't feel that that's the right word. It's just it's just those small spaces that feel so wholesome, and there's pottery on the shelves and you just want to be there. Yeah. And throughout our travels, we've been in hundreds of them. Yeah. And every time we're like, oh gosh, this feels like home. This is what we want home to feel like. We love this here. And that is where Only belongs. Yeah. And so maybe it's not cleanse and nourish. People don't go to those shops looking for a probiotic, but they do go to those shops looking for a facial serum or something to change the energy in your space, which is our Purify Palo Santo and our wash bar of soap. Yeah. Those are all perfect fits for these retail spaces. And we are so excited to expand into retail in a way that aligns with us and our hearts. And the reason I want to share this is because I think there's two parts. I get an idea and I get really excited about it and I'm not afraid to share it. So I shared it on our Instagram. Ty was down the rabbit hole. We were really close to being on Whole Food shelves. Yeah. We were one transaction away of being in the distributor that works with Whole Foods. And so when I announced that on my Instagram story, I meant it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not afraid to say we've learned in this process and we're pivoting. We are realigning with our hearts because as humans and small business owners and families, it's okay to go for something and to change your mind.
And it's also honestly more powerful to be able to say, this doesn't align with who I am. I'm going to make a change. Even if you said it the day before, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Like, it's way more powerful to say, this actually doesn't align with me the way I thought it would. And so we're going to make a change. And I think that's where the other kind of arm of
that's where we are right
forward,
now.
has been created.
So as a small business, I know that only the universe helped create only to make a big impact in the world. And the families that only has touched, it has changed their lives the way that it changed ours. And I am on a mission to support as many women and children as we can.
Yeah.
And culture says marketing, ads, you need ads. That's like the easy way. And so we experimented with that. We partnered with a wonderful, wonderful man. He was an incredible part of the Only team,
Mm-hmm.
but we have since pivoted. We are pulling out of marketing to move forward in a way that feels aligned. And I want to share it with you here because if you are interested in being part of this, I want you to reach out to us.
Yeah.
So we are building a really strong, solid ambassador program. And I know this isn't new to our culture. There's affiliates and ambassadors for so many businesses, but I picture our ambassador program being very soulful and very heart aligned. And the vision behind it is to help women who are passionate about Only and the healing that these supplements provide to help them create an income so they can be at home with their children. And I want to partner with these women, these like-minded women who are unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I picture there being an annual retreat where we gather and celebrate health and wellness together and pamper each other. And I've always dreamed of hosting retreats. That's always been a dream of mine, but I never want to charge money for it. I just want to like love people, love my people. And this finally feels right to me.
Sure.
And this program, we are already well underway. Lindsay, our online business manager in Savannah, she is basically my left hand. She is amazing. She is going to be managing the ambassador program. And I can't even wait to experience the transformation that this creates.
Yeah.
We are building a community of like-minded families who are passionate about true healing from the inside and breaking free from cultural expectations and settling for norms.
Yeah.
And so it feels very exciting. And the last thing I want to say about these transformations is pivoting with retail and deciding instead of these big corporations, let's partner with smaller shops and empower each other.
Yeah.
The same as it's very aligned with let's actually move from paid marketing to an ambassador program. And while big corporations and marketing, that we have been taught that's like the easy, fast way, that is not what we are doing.
Yeah.
We are looking to connect and partner and support people who believe in true healing from the inside of their bodies. And all in all, Only is moving in a really beautiful direction. And I'm covered in goosebumps because I'm so excited about where we are going. And so Ty's sticking with us. He is managing inventory and he's going to be working on these smaller retail shops and a couple other things.
Yeah. All around good guy.
He's an all around good guy.
Yeah. That's what it says on my business card.
Oh,
All around good guy. Logistics.
man, we don't have one made, but that's exactly what it's going to say.
Kicking ass and taking names. All around good guy. Logistics and sales.
Oh, man, that's perfect. Okay, is there anything else that we need to share?
No.
Okay.
No, this is great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you
everybody.
for joining us. I think that was pretty good.
That was good. Okay. See you in 2 to 3 hours when you finish this. I'm tired.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.